It is hard to imagine a sunnier American face.
315.
You're looking at a tape from 54 years ago, an unknown teenager in a kind of audition.
When I go to the beach, unless there's boys there, or my boyfriend, then it's not any fun. I just by myself.
Sally Field, remembering that moment she won the part of the impossibly innocent girl next door, Gidget.
You see before you meet, Gidget.
And the next thing we know, she's a 20-year-old strapped into a harness.
Anyway, I'm not going to give up.
We can see the wires, that's all I'll say. We really
Oh,
can.
gee, the illusion is ruined.
The flying nun on TV made her a household name. But during the next 50 years, she would blaze across the big screen with startling truth and power.
Daniel!
Sometimes hilarious,
The whole time you would... The whole time!
then stepping out of history.
Will he ever know what she went through for him?
Sometimes simply shattering. But it's only today, at the age of 71, that she is finally ready to talk about the truth of her life off-screen. She has written a book putting together the pieces.
To uncover what I had avoided seeing all my life.
Which was?
Boy, that's
Memories too painful.
memories that would drop you bone by bone, you know, that would just floor you.
For every child, the first great mystery is your own family. Hers includes a beautiful mother she idolized. She's written she glowed like honey in a glass jar.
Incredibly beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Incredibly luminous.
Truly, truly was.
But she was also the mother who was enthralled by a man who became Sally's stepdad, stuntman and actor 6'4" Jocko Mahoney. Sally Field writes she was maybe 4 or 5 years old when her stepfather would call her up to the bedroom. He had back pain. He wanted her to walk on his aching muscles.
Well, I was always tiny, a little person, even littler than I am now. Yes, it's true. And from the get-go, I was like a kind of toy. He was a stuntman, so he was always sore and injured and wounded, and I was so little that it was almost like having a dance floor on this huge big back. And then that grew. Sal, come walk on my back. And so I did.
And not just his back.
No.
You can read the details of what happened in the book, her story of the frightening, escalating exploitation of a little girl. She says the abuse continued until her early teens.
You know, child abuse, sexual child abuse, any child abuse, but sexual child abuse, I think one of the reasons it is, at least my point of view, it's so damaging is because it's so complicated. There isn't just one feeling.
One of the things that we always hear is how early shame sets in.
Oh, yeah.
And how early the doubt of your complicity
Oh, yeah.
somehow sets in.
And how then do you grow up and have any sort of understanding of what healthy sexuality is? Or how is it not always connected to danger? It's always connected to danger, shame, and loss.
Loss?
Well, kind of the loss of self.
The secrets, the loneliness, not to mention the corrosive question, how much did her beautiful mother know? It will take her decades to ask. So look once again at the face of the young TV star who seems the embodiment of innocence and joy. She writes about depression, uncontrollable rage, binge eating, and the cure for the little nun who put on extra pounds.
Someone gave you pills.
Yeah. They gave me, you know, these big green bombers.
Dexedrine.
Straight Dexedrine. Hot damn summer in the city. And boy, oh boy, now this is fun. You see your cotton mouth and you're high as a kite, you know, and just...
She says she managed to stop the pills after just a few months. But the flying nun had also made her a joke in the serious acting community she worshipped. She's asked to go to the Golden Globes, but they make her fly in. And by the way, it's a homemade dress.
My mom made the dress like the night before. I was wearing a pink taffeta culotte outfit, which was,
Don't we all dream of being photographed forever in that?
And my hair was in ringlets. I mean, what on earth was I thinking? Not much, clearly. I'm flying across the Coconut Grove, looking down at everyone I wanted to know and be, and I had to fly into the arms of John Wayne.
As the years went by, she would have to fight for so many of those roles we love, the ones who won her 2 Oscars. At the same time, she married and has 3 children she adores. But there were also 2 divorces and relationships, she says, still reflect a little girl with a cracked heart.
What have you learned about yourself and men?
Not much. I really don't, I have not figured that out.
Like the romance almost 40 years ago, 1977. Roguish superstar Burt Reynolds chose her for his girl in Smokey and the Bandit. The movie comes up on screen at the Roxy Cinema Tribeca.
But God, I was so good. You should have seen me. You'd have loved me.
We'd known each other about 3 days, 4 days at that point. It was instantaneous, and 4 days felt like 4 years. So you can see it in our faces. Or, we were sort of deeply entangled. And the nature of it wasn't just oh, this is a love affair. Something, so there was some ingredient between us having to do with my caretaking and him needing to be taken care of.
In the book, she writes about his panic attacks, hypochondria, pills to soothe him. She says for a time she gave up a lot of what she wanted in an effort to try to make him happy.
I think the only reason to write about Bert was to show how he was an illustration of how I was replicating things in my childhood in the pattern that I couldn't get out of. I only recognized love if to be loved, I had to disappear.
She says she finally managed to leave him in part because of what she learned from the role Norma Ray. The true story of a woman who had the courage to stand up for herself.
I started this, and I'm gonna finish it.
Piece by piece, she says, holding on to your own strength. At one point, her stepfather, remarried with a different family, asked her for money.
And you give it to him.
Sure, yeah.
And she told me she thinks she should have shown up for his Stuntman Award before he died.
Should have done it because of what?
I don't know, because that was a weird thing to say, because I won. I won. We were in some weird battle, and that's just the truth. And I won.
And finally, one more piece of her life to face down. Sally Field was in her 60s when she gathered the nerve to ask her aging mother that lacerating question: did you know what he was doing?
She's very frail and passing away. I have the conversation with her. Yep.
They were in the kitchen. Her mother trembled, confessing that decades ago her stepfather had mentioned one event.
That he had done something and he felt terrible and he wanted her forgiveness. And she said something pretty awful, pretty graphic that he had said, which went, whoa, for me to hear that and to know that that was true. And for me to say to her, Mother, it wasn't just one moment in my life, an indiscretion on his part. It was my whole life. It was my whole childhood.
And the next morning, her frail mother gives her the only thing she can, her anguish, her regret, promising love in this life and after.
She yanked the door open with a strength I didn't think she still had and grabbed me. And she said, you will never be alone in this again. I let you down.
Sally Field says she's learned we all live inside imperfect lives, and the triumph is to choose hope and hold on.
Your life is never one thing. It is a lifetime of work and struggle and success and failure. And the times when you feel absolutely slammed to the ground with defeat or disappointment or loss, just hopeless. It's up to you to be in pain and feel it and stand up and move again.
In Pieces is out tomorrow. Our thanks to Diane Sawyer.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.